Boy, have I got something special for you today. If you are wanting to reduce overwhelm, increase productivity, then this video is especially for you. Hey, it's Tom Jacobs here. I love dropping little nuggets to help you increase sales, which ultimately will help more people with your program and products, especially for those heart-centered salespeople. Today's video is all about productivity and reducing overwhelm. Why? Because I have said this one time, probably said it 100 times. Salespeople who get hung up on administrative tasks have less time to sell. You are a salesperson. You should be selling. Imagine being able to reclaim 10%, 20% of your time from administrative tasks that you can then make one more call, two more calls a day. What can that do for you? At the end of the month, you have 30 to 60 new calls that you've made. And if you're converting 10% of those calls, that's another 3 or 6 sales that you're making every single month. And the math just is the math, right? This program that I found, and they actually approached me and they said, hey, would you like to do a video about this? And I'm pretty skeptical when it comes to showing off other people's stuff because it is what it is. So I said, yeah, but allow me to make a video, and if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad, you know? So it's called Superhuman, and it really does live up to the name because it is making me like a superhuman. It's an email application, so it is super easy to install. I was using Gmail. I mean, look at my Gmail account here. Maybe you're like me, you have it set up so the important ones go up to the top, but I got some in here that aren't that important. Accepted meeting reminders and things like that. That's not, to me, that's not like super important. But you know what I would do? And this was like my workflow. I would scan through and I would obviously delete the ones that I knew were a list or I wasn't wanting to read the email. But then the ones that I was like, oh yeah, I need to come back to that, I would star it and then leave it unread so that it would be there. So starred and unread. And then I would go through that. Or at one point I had a label called further action, but I never went into it. And so I'm sure I was missing deadlines or missing the follow-up with certain people. And that actually doesn't sit well with me because I want to help more people. And the best way to do that is by interacting with them. And so my inbox would look like this, and there'd be a bunch of unreads. And I'd be like, and every day or every hour when I check email, I would get like a little anxious until I installed Superhuman. So this is my inbox now. Look at this. It's empty. Well, not really, because I have 3 important emails here, and I can now look at these emails, and the program itself is really smart in terms of knowing what's an important email and what's not. And so it puts like some of the newsletter lists that I'm on, it puts them into the other category, and it was pretty smart. And for the ones that I was like, no, I actually want that in my important box, then I would just click on it, hit little can, and I would just say move to important. And then it would move that to important, but then it would say, hey, do you want me to move everything from this email to important? And then I could say yeah or no, and it was super easy. The other thing I really like is all of the shortcut keys, like keyboard keys. It took a little bit of time because I'm a trackpad mousey guy. It took a little bit used to knowing the hotkeys, but it's actually pretty easy to just learn a few hotkeys and then you just add to it as you go along. So that's really easy. And it allows me to have a really nice, what do you call it, a workflow in terms of how I go through my emails. And so I can actually tag emails to remind me later, and then it takes it out of the email box so I'm not overwhelmed by it, and then re-puts it back in when I ask it to. If it's 1 hour, 1 day, 2 days later, it's back in my inbox so that I know that I need to deal with it, which is amazing. The other really great thing is when you send an email to somebody and I need to know if they're replying, if they don't reply, people are busy and not always do they reply to your emails. And so there needs to be some type of follow-up, right? And so you would go like, oh, yeah, I sent that email like 5 days ago. I wonder if they responded to me yet. And then you would forget. And so in here, there's a piece, and I know Gmail has it as well, remind you, but it was like really hard to get to, and I just couldn't be bothered. This one, I just do, I think it's H, and then I say how many days, and if they don't reply, now it's going to remind me that that person didn't reply, which is pretty cool. The other great thing is that it tells me then when they opened the email that I sent. And actually, you can see, recent opens. I can see everybody that opens. I'm like, oh yeah, this person opened up my email. They must be thinking about me. Maybe it's time to follow up, maybe with a phone call, a text, if it was an important email, and I can follow up with them. Well, pretty cool. And because it's you're top of mind with them, and you're obviously following up like you should be doing on a regular basis. The other really cool feature is the AI built into it. I can write an email, I can highlight the email and say, hey, rewrite this to be a little bit more sensitive, because I'm not always that sensitive. I type pretty fast. It'll look for grammatical errors and all that and just clean it up super fast. I can also just give bullet points and then have it write the email for me. And it takes a little bit of learning to know how to write that so that it does it the way that you want it to, but it's super, super cool. If you are in sales or not in sales, but if you find your inbox overwhelming and frustrating and it takes you time to go through it and you don't get to inbox 0 and you want to, I would highly recommend getting Superhuman. And I am affiliate with them, so if you use the link down below, I really appreciate that. That helps support the videos that I do and everything like that. So use the link down in the comments. They're going to give you some time for free to check it out, and I encourage you, just check it out. It's super easy to install. Like if you're using Gmail already, then it's just like super fast, and it syncs up with Gmail too. So it's very, very easy to use, to set up. And they'll even do an onboarding call with you. There's a bunch of education as well, so super easy to get into. Highly recommend it. Click the link down below and let me know what you think about it. I'm really curious if you're finding it as valuable as I'm finding it. I'm getting like at least an hour back every day, and that is amazing. Until next time, have a great day.